Hello everyone, Brother Dustin here. Hope y'all can hear me well. Trying to see who all we got out there. I see Miss Judy, Jessica, Amanda, someone called Lay Toast. Hello. Hope you enjoyed the little countdown timer. Please excuse my mouse on the screen. So, see if we can get a couple people to join here and we'll get started with a game. Hope you're all enjoying quarantine life still. How is quarantine life going, by the way? Brian, hey. Yes, hey. Yeah, we have our chat channel going on the YouTube. So we'll ask some questions and things there. Can y'all hear me okay? Anyone in the chat, can y'all sort of give me a thumbs up or something? That's all I could get out. Oh, I see. Yes. Quiet. Had trouble Sunday as well. Jessica, do you mean my voice is quiet, the audio's quiet? Oh, I think I know what you mean now. Yeah, the audio getting through the TV or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, definitely something that we're sort of looking at. Hattie is on. I heard Hattie had a complaint, and it was a legitimate complaint, that the Lumberjack game that we tried to do 2 or 3 weeks ago, couldn't really see it. You know, back then we were amateurs. We weren't really good at this. We're still not really good at it now, but we're a little bit better than before. So hopefully tonight I got some new software. I got a program. It should, if all goes well tonight, it should let you see on your end, TV or computer, tablet, phone, it should let you see in full version another game we'll do of Nailed It or Failed It Cat Edition. So Hattie, I had you in mind with this, trying to make sure that you could play again and be able to see that properly. So we'll try to do that and throw some answers up on the YouTube chat. Alright, so I'm going to get going with Nailed It or Failed It Cat Edition. So y'all hang with me. Let me transition this over a little bit here. Alright, alright. Okay, here we go. Nailed It or Failed It Cat Edition. Nailed It or Failed It Cat Edition. Hope you enjoy. These are always fun. Some of these you may have seen online before. If you have, it's okay. It'll still be fun. All right, so here we go. First up. Okay, so as you can see, I apologize if my mouse is distracting on the screen. I'm new to OBS. I thought I knew how to remove the mouse off of the presentation. I don't yet. Still figuring that out. But as you can see in this screen here, this kitty is trying to make a very far leap from its window over to the building across the way. So do we think this cat will nail it or fail it? Brother Will's already in, which is probably Fisher, I think. So we're already saying fail. I'm assuming when Kyle answers, it's Hattie. So Hattie says fail. Le Toast with fail, capital A. That's significant. All right. Let's see what happens here. Here he goes. The cat goes. He's up. He's up. He's over. And will he make it? Or she? Yes. The kitty nailed it. The kitty nailed it indeed. So, those of you, you know, you said the cat would fail. Come on, man. Come on. What's up with that? Man, lady, you know. All right. Next up here. We have this orange ginger looking cat. And obviously, this cat wants something on top of the fridge. So a little bit of clearance there. And, alright, so you're going to pay attention to the launch off. The launch off there, do we think this ginger cat, which we all know all gingers, a little shifty. I know because I have red hair. I just don't have hair now. But when I had hair, it was sort of red. So I say that out of personal experience. Is this kitty going to nail it or fail it? He's trying to get to the top of the fridge. So what do we think here? Chat channel lining up with fail right now. Oh, it's actually Hannah. Hello, Hannah. Hello. Will the kitty nail this or fail this? Most people saying fail. Okay. All right, let's see what happens here. Cat's ready to go up. Come on in, sir. Get on camera. Do you think this cat's going to make it or not, Mr. Mike? Oh, the cat failed, actually. Cat straight up failed. Like, he didn't even get any air. So he goes up, literally just not even a jump, just straight down. It's almost like the cat was, I don't even know what the cat was thinking. So, all right, next up here, we have this cat here on top of this dresser chest thing. So obviously he's wanting to go over, make the jump to the other piece of furniture. So do we think this cat will nail or fail? Most people here saying nothing yet. All right, so Brian he'll nail it. Fisher would nail it. Latoast thinks the kitty will make it. Hey, there's Mr. Mike. Say hi to Mr. Mike. Yeah?
Sorry, bud.
No, you're good, man. We always enjoy guests. Okay. And the cat goes up, up, oh, straight down. Obviously, if you look there, it's like he lost his footing. So I think he probably could have made it. That doesn't look like a bad jump for a cat, but probably a little glossy finish there on the top. So maybe the cat's been declawed. Who knows? But it just went straight down. Looks like it slipped. Tough luck for the cat there. All right, we got another kitty here. And this cat, a little hard to see on the video. I've actually seen this before, so I'll explain it. Believe it or not, if you look in the right side, there's just enough of a clearance between the ceiling and the cabinet-looking thing there on the right side. So I believe the cat is trying to literally wedge up between the ceiling and that cabinet thing. So just to help your mind there, that's what the cat is going for. So we think this cat will nail this or fail this. All right, we've got fail. Most everybody with fail there. Yeah. So I don't really think the cat's going to make it. Hattie with fail. Yep. Okay. We will see what happens. Cat's getting ready. And there it goes. Look at it. There it is. Nailed it. Not hardly any clearance. The cat wedges in successfully. Good show, mate.
Sherman.
All right, here we go.
Afraid.
We've got this lady looking like she's in quarantine there. Doesn't look like she's got much going on.
Do it if you tried.
Except her cat in the background there, getting ready for the launch. So this cat is obviously trying to make it into the very obvious lofty part there in the ceiling. So what do you think this kitty will nail it or fail it? What do we think's going on here? What does the crowd say? Hannah says she has faith in this cat. Brian and Latoast are definitely fail. This cat has no future in its life. Nail and fail. Fisher, how can it nail and fail? Hattie with it will make it. Okay, all right. See what goes on here.
Or what?
Cat gets ready.
Do it if you tried.
Goes up. Oh, straight down. Yep. Up and I mean, the cat didn't really even jump. I mean, it sort of just took a little hop. I don't understand what's good. It's like the cat forgot it was a cat. It's really odd there. Sorry about that, cat. But hey, he helped his owner out. Obviously, she didn't have much going on, so it gave her an excuse to get up off the couch. So, yay for the cat. He probably did it on purpose. Here we go. We got the kitty here going to try to make a leap over the water onto the dock. Over the water on the dock, straight from the boat. Good bit of a jump there, though. It's quite a bit of a jump. So do we think this cat will make it or not? Make it or not? Fail or nail here? What say the crowd? All right, Latos chiming in first with the cat will nail it. Fisher with no, man, it's not going to do it. Brian is just hopeful, wants to see the cat swim. I understand that. I always enjoy seeing a cat get wet. Hattie with, it's probably not going to make it. Probably not. Well, we shall see. We shall see. Here we go. Cat is going. Ready to jump, and it goes. Oh, and it nails it. Startled the people on the hammock. Startles the lovely people on the hammock. It nailed it so much. All right, here we got another fluffy, ginger-looking cat. And this cat obviously would like to visit outside. He's tired of quarantine. He's like, I've been locked up in here. We're on day 15 and a quarter. I'm tired of being stuck in here. I'm ready to get out. I think I will just leap up out of this place. Is this ginger quarantine distressed cat going to make it out the window? Nail or fail? Looks like most of you. Hannah with fail. Brian with fail. Fisher with fail. We got Hattie with fail. Oh, so Jessica, not just one thumb, two, but 3 thumbs that this kitty will make it. Let's see what happens here. Cat gets ready. He's armed. He's prepped. Escaping quarantine. Violating the shelter place. And that's what he gets. That's what he gets. See what happens when you violate quarantine social physical distancing rules. You will harm ginger cats. Next one, we have this very spooky white cat. Like, it's almost like the cat is a ghost. Alright, so this cat is trying to jump up on top of the closet thing there. So, do we think this cat will nail it or fail it? Kitty here trying to jump on the closet. Is he going to nail or fail? All right. Brian with fail. Le Toast says he'll nail it. Probably the cat's looking for toast up there. Fisher says he'll nail it. He thinks the cat's got Jedi skills. Hattie thinks it's going to work. Okay. We'll see. All right. Here we go. Cat gets ready. It's ready to use its ghostly skills to float up there. There he goes. Nails it. Kitty nails it. Where have you been? No, go ahead. We need you on here. So for the record, Brother Will is crawling on the floor. You can go ahead and get in here, sir. It's okay. It's okay. All right, here we go. Another cat. Half ginger cat. I can hear your tongue. That's actually what was weird about that. Obviously, I think you're within 6 feet of me. Alright, will this cat nail it or fail it? He's trying to jump up on top of this, I kind of missed it. It looks like a doorway or something over there. So we think this cat's going to nail it or fail it. Thumbs down for being creepy. I'm assuming Brian was I missed that one. So Brian was talking about the other cat there. Alright, so we think this cat may nail it, Brian says. Yeah? Lay Toast with it's going to make it. Having some faith in the cat. Fish with no, that cat has no hope. Let's see. All right, we'll see what happens here. Here comes the cat. Oh, man, what was that? Seriously, I haven't seen this one yet. So that cat sort of went, it's like he had a weight on him. Maybe he was wearing a weighted vest. I don't know. Here we go. We got this baby gate contraption. This cat is like, I am not a baby. You cannot hold me back. I'll not stand for this quarantine behind a baby gate. So he's like, I'm getting out of here. So is this cat going to nail it or fail it? Will he or she make it over the baby gate? All right. Ooh, Miss Peggy's on. Hello, Miss Peggy. All right. Oh, most of you would nail it. Fish again with both. All right. So I think Miss Jessica's saying no. Miss Peggy, no. Fish with both. I'm not sure how that works. Looks like the Cotton household with nail it. Brian failed. The toast fell. Okay. All right. See what happens. Here he goes. He's like, I'm violating quarantine. I'm getting out of here. And, oh, that's tricky. That's tricky. See, So I didn't make this game. I don't know. We would have to get a judge on that one because the cat, I'm assuming they say failed it because it did knock the baby gate. But if his original intentions are just to escape over the baby gate, the cat made it. I mean, he's on the other side of the gate. Why did I say gat? Like cat runs with cat. He's on the other side of the gate. I mean, yeah, he didn't make a clean jump, but so what? He made it. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with failed it, but whatever. I didn't make the game. This cat now is trying to get down. Okay, so... Alright. He's leaping off sort of with a flying squirrel tactic there. Honestly, we can't really see where he or she is going, but whatever it's after, do we think this cat will nail it or fail it? What say the crowd? Yeah, I'm just now looking at some of your comments on the last one, the baby gate. I agree. That would sort of be both. Failed it with a clean jump, but he nailed it by getting over. What about this cat flying down? La toast with nail. Fish with fail. Cottons are saying it's going to nail it. Fab. That's a good one, Brian. It fails because it is already falling. Depends on its fall. Maybe it's a controlled fall. You know, like a skydiver or something there. I don't know. All right, we'll see what happens. There it goes, gliding down. Little skydiver tactic, putting arms out. Oh, and they say it nailed it. So it appears what we couldn't see is it was trying to successfully get down on the mattress where its friend cat was already taunting it that it had made it down already. Okay, here we go. I think it's our last one. So here we have a cat, which to me is a little strange looking. Even more strange, I'm a little concerned. I don't know, this room looks a little shady. We've got some purple, pink light things in the background. We've got this weird bed cover with glittery looking stuff on it. But either way, cat's trying to jump over and make it on the bed. So will this cat nail it or fail it? La toast with fail. What do you think?
I don't know. I always like to see a cat fail myself, personally.
See, trying to get from dresser to there. Okay. Most of you would fail. Alright. Alright, we'll see what happens here. Oh, cat failed. Totally failed. I mean, I don't know. Cat did not have enough air. I think that's it on that one. Alright. I'm going to fade y'all out just a second here. Everybody say hi to Brother Will. Hey y'all, thanks for playing that game. We'll try another one, and we may have to amend this one for the sake of time. So, this game is called First to 10 Quarantine Edition. So, how this game is played is I'm going to throw up some questions on here, and when I throw these questions up, it's going to basically be, have you already done this? Can you answer yes? Whatever the question is, I've already done that. And in person, you would put your finger up. So what we'll do here is, if you can put on the chat channel maybe a thumbs up or the number 1, just to symbolize that, yes, I have done that. All right, so let me get that pulled up here. All right, so First to 10 Quarantine Edition. See, this is fancy.
That is pretty cool.
All right, does everybody understand the game? Hope so. All right, so we're up on the screen there. We're good. All right, here we go. It's kind of a little noise too, but we can. Okay, so have you woken up before 7:30 a.m.? Oh, I did not take the title. All right, so sorry about that. Didn't take the title graphic off. So have you woken up before 7:30 a.m.?
Too many times.
Can you say that that is true about you? You would have thumbs up, throw up a number 1, whatever. You'll have to help me keep score here, and y'all can answer too. We got Fisher and Brother Will in here. Have y'all woken up before 7:30?
I have not since quarantine.
Hand me a pen over there, son.
So we may have to go first to 5 for the sake of time, but we'll see.
Let me get over here to my
We'll see.
handy dandy notebook.
All right, so Latoast has, Amanda and Brian both have. The Cottons are, no, that's not me. That is.
I wonder
not
how
me.
many of them have gotten up that early since they've been in quarantine, social distancing type stuff.
That's what this is.
So that's what this is?
Yeah, so this is, let me remind the crowd then, these questions you answer within the confines of when you went into quarantine, whatever you want to call quarantine. Yeah, so that's a good way to put it. Since school's been dismissed, since you've been at home, can you say, yeah, this is true of me? So that's how we're answering this. Miss Jessica, I'm assuming that's like a hand up. So Jessica got 1. Miss Peggy with a 1, so she's been up before 7:30.
Man, the older generation taking the lead on this game.
All right, so had to let the roofers work. Nice. All right, here we go again. We'll clear that one, and we're gonna throw up now. Here we go, spinning it up. Yeah. All right, we're gonna stop it. Have you watched Frozen 2 since you've been on quarantine?
Ooh, Frozen 2.
Have you watched Frozen 2?
Frozen to what?
The movie.
Oh, the movie,
sir.
I thought you meant like a tongue to a
No. The movie Frozen 2. Have you watched Frozen 2?
Frozen 2.
Yeah, Frozen the sequel.
Generally, the people I know, it's always Frozen 2 something.
We've got Brian and Amanda. Yes, they have. Latoast has. Now the Cottons are in there. They have done this. They have already watched Frozen 2 since on quarantine. Hannah Rowlett, are you saying no to the last one or no to this one? Have you watched Frozen 2 yet? Okay, she says no, so Hannah Rowlett is not in on that one. Okay. No to the first one as well. All right. So here we go. Next. Clear that one. All right. And stop. Fisher, you may get on this. Have you watched SportsCenter talk about the lack of sports?
Yes, I have. Multiple times.
So have you, during quarantine, been watching at all SportsCenter talk about the lack of sports? Oh, and Jessica, throw her in for Frozen. I just now saw her answer.
All right. Did you watch Frozen 2?
No, I watched SportsCenter.
All right, Hannah's saying yes to the SportsCenter. Amanda finally with no. She didn't do that. Miss Peggy has. Cottons are no. Latoast no. Brian no. So everybody's giving up on the sports there. Except you, Fish. You're still watching it. Okay. Next up. Clear that one. All right. This is going to be a little tempting. Y'all got your pastor on here now. So let's see what's up. Here. What's this question? Watched someone else's church online. Have you, since quarantine, been unfaithful to your church family, betrayed your pastor, and watched someone else's church service online? You know, we'll let it go easy on you. You can only count. You don't have to count if maybe you joined a small group. We're talking a service, like a Sunday evening. All right, looks like they're probably lying, but most people are saying no. They have not. So,
hey, as long as they didn't skip our service time to do it.
That's right. As long as you did not skip our service time. So far, no yeses on that. Got some good, faithful church people here. Not that we're suggesting it would be wrong.
No, but I'm giving everyone a point for saying no to that.
Right. So and let's set the record straight. I mean, that wouldn't be wrong of you, but, it'd be inappropriate. It's one of those things that's like, you didn't break the law, but you shouldn't say that.
It's that Christian liberty thing where Paul says, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient.
Okay, we've got Jessica here with a thumbs up.
Look at that.
We've got someone now being honest.
Yeah, we'll give her a point just for honesty.
She's throwing in family. It was my family.
Yeah. Family. We're all family in Christ.
Miss
all family
Peggy.
of God.
Miss Peggy has too. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll clear that one. How many points does someone have the most there?
We're up to 3 points. We got the lead, and Jessica and Miss Peggy right now are tied here. So.
All right. Spinning it up. Next one here. Have you posted a video online? Can be any video. Can be appropriate or not. You don't have to tell us about it.
Watch out now.
Just have you posted a video online?
Yeah, Fisher's been in a video.
So
posted
Fisher
online.
has. Oh yeah, the church videos, multiple videos.
In the video, not in
Yeah,
the
just any video. Have you an Instagram stream? Have you thrown up a 30-second clip somewhere? Facebook, whatever. Have you, in any online capacity, posted a video online? Hannah said she'd never watch another service and hurt your feelings there. So.
Well, Hannah's my favorite, so.
Right. All right, I'm assuming Jessica's voting yes, she posted a video. I would assume that about her. Amanda has.
Okay.
Latoast has not. The Cottons have. Videos for my students. Cheating.
I'm telling you,
Cheating.
those educators.
Man.
Yeah, it's something, isn't it?
Man, well, we'll count it. That's all right. All right, we'll spin the next one up here. Clear that. All right.
Oh, that's a good question right there.
And have you, since quarantine, clogged up a toilet? Have you plugged a toilet? They say
wow.
plugged. We would say in the South clogged. This
That's
game was
right.
made by people in California. Have you clogged / plugged up a toilet? Who's going to admit to that, right? I would. I will admit to that.
Sometimes that's bragging rights.
You really need to ask me, how many times have you not? Miss Peggy says, not yet. I'm assuming that's for the video. Miss Jessica, no. Cottons, no. No one's going to want to admit to that. Be sparing with the toilet paper. Porta Johns don't fly. That's right. He's out on the job site.
There you go.
Yeah. Jacob has, yes, your family. Anyone in your family. We'll count it, Amanda. So count the helpers
All right.
there.
Look at there.
Yeah, we'll count the whole family there. Jacob, that's
I'm
all
proud
right.
of him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a very big kid.
I mean,
to do
guys,
something
he's
like that.
kind of lean. That's
I'm telling
pretty
you.
impressive.
Can't judge a book by the cover there.
No, it's pretty impressive. Alrighty. All right, so next up, have you skipped bathing / showering for a full day?
Oh my goodness.
Have you skipped bathing / showering for a full day? Fisher is in on that.
For multiple days.
I'm in on that for multiple days, and I've always practiced that long before coronavirus was even a trend. I've been in on that for a while. But we've got Peggy says no. His wife has. Oh, your wife's on here.
Oh, what's got?
Oh,
my wife has.
The first lady has not been practicing good hygiene during
I
quarantine.
thought I smelled something
Wow.
that one day.
Latoast has done this. Amanda's done it. Brian's done it. Cottons have done it. Well, it's probably Haley. We'll just assume it was her.
It had to be Haley.
Definitely Haley.
She's the gross one in the whole family.
Yeah. Hannah Rowlett with a definite yes. Jessica, yeah. We got Kayla Ruminer on here.
Shout out to Kayla.
So she's saying, I'm assuming some members in her family have done that.
Some of them have.
Oh, now Hannah wants to throw in there she's clogged up her toilet 5 times. Thank you for sharing that. Haley's trying to specify it's the Cotton kids. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, too late.
We know.
For that.
Whatever.
We've already made our judgment.
Whatever. All right, clearing that one. And this one might be a little edgy, but I'm the youth pastor, so I'm going to do it. Okay? Forgive me, Pastor, but have you been accused of having corona? Have you been accused of having corona?
Now, just to make sure, you talking about the illness?
It goes either way. It
Okay.
goes either way.
Just want to make sure.
The question is vague on purpose.
Okay, then.
Question is vague on purpose. Have you been accused of having corona? It could mean, has someone accused you of walking around with an alcoholic beverage? Or it could mean, has someone accused you of being ill under this current virus? Cottons are yes to
Look
that.
at that. Haley not only does not shower, she spreads illness.
Jessica says only by her family. Well, we're going to count that, though.
Count
I mean,
that.
if
Yeah,
you've
we
been
might as
accused
well.
by anyone, you have.
Might as
So
well count that.
Well, Miss Haley could have had.
yes,
the
Mitch has.
alcoholic drinking night.
The Cottons are yes. Jessica will count hers. Looks like Brian and Amanda are no right now, and Latoast is by their own mother. Well, that counts. Kayla, yes. Hannah Rowlett is laughing. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
I think she heard probably an inappropriate comment coming
she
over
may
the
have-
airwaves.
She
or
may
something.
have. Yeah, we've got guests in the live studio this evening, so between the three of us, we may have some different things thrown out. You'll have to forgive. This is all live, so it happens, you know. Get off here, Dr. Mark Bailey. Man. All right. Is anyone at 5?
Right now, we've surpassed 5.
Really?
Jessica is in the lead by 1. She is in the lead, and then she's at 6, and Amanda is following up with 5. So it's a close race.
Okay.
Right now.
All right, we're gonna spin this up. Sorry.
No, I'm doing a show. We have the prize for tonight's game is a collectible spoon from the state of Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
So we'll go to 10. We're moving pretty quick. So let's see. Where was I at here? Oh, sorry. That one. Ignore that one. All right, let's clear this again here. All right, we're spinning up this one now. Let's see. Have you had to explain your homework to an adult and they didn't understand? I guess this one applies more to youth, but maybe you adults have had. We'll make it for you adults. Have you had to explain homework or adultish things to someone they didn't understand? Like maybe something at your job since you've been working from home, or I don't know, who knows. So remember what's on the line here. We can show them the spoon again.
Yes.
So
the collectable spoon. Let's get up close.
We've got,
see that? That is a collectible spoon.
You're violating my 6 feet here. Just kidding. Man, you ain't even covering your mouth. What's going on here?
How not to spread coronavirus.
How not to spread. Don't, yeah. All right, so we have here, the Cottons are yes.
Oh, okay.
Brian says yes with hand on face. Amanda's laughing and no. Kayla with yes for Trison. Latoast is yes. Jessica says yes daily, mainly Bowen. Yeah, that I'm sure that's a yes. Oh, no, no. I'm surprised because I go to Southside. That's funny, but I mean, okay, but okay, whatever. Oh, she means no, but I'm surprised. Okay, so Hannah's a no on that. All right.
Hello.
The score person left.
We have a call in.
A call in. Wait, we got a call in on air?
Oh.
All right. Have you gotten into a fight in a chat?
Okay, I'll clarify.
Who's going to admit that?
All
You
right.
got into a fight in a chat. I think I heard what's going on. We'll give you if Miss Christie's out there, we will give time for a public service announcement to clarify that you're not grungy. That's what I'm hearing there, right?
Yeah, her answer was she has proudly watched other people's church services, but she has also showered and taken care of personal hygiene. She was greatly offended that I would suggest she had not.
Why was she surprised though? That's
don't
what
know. She should know better.
You should be more offended that she is surprised at your behavior.
Yeah, I know.
You would think you've built up a reputation over
telling
these
you,
years.
that's the truth.
Everybody's saying no to gotten into a fight except for Hannah Rowlett, so
Well, I'll give her
one
credit.
on
I'm
that.
going to give her credit.
All right, so just to clarify, if you wanted to express that again, Brother Will.
Well, my darling wife has called into the show to make sure we clarify the fact that her answer earlier was to say in the affirmative she has watched other people's church services and has done that without feeling guilty about hurting my feelings. But she has also showered and taken care of her hygiene well. So my suggestion that she hasn't has greatly offended her. And I'll probably be in trouble about that later on, but that's nothing new for me, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, we'll get past that. This too shall pass. All right. Who's in the lead? I'm curious here. And does your wife get a point for admitting she watched another church?
Oh, yeah, I forgot I should give her credit for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings her up. Jessica is still in the lead here.
Okay, all right. We're going to spin up this one. We'll keep going to 10 real quick. And have you slept past noon? Have you slept past noon? Should be affirmative for some teens that I know of. Have you slept past noon yet? And we have Hannah's not but tried. How do you try to sleep past noon? Cottons are no. Kayla with yes. So Kayla's getting a point there.
All right. Moving on up.
Jessica, yes. Haven't went to bed until 3 and 4 a.m. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Living like a teenager.
Man. Brian has dreamed about it. He's dreamt about it, but no. Hannah can't because of Miss Judy getting on her.
That's what mamas are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, move along here. What we got next? All right. Next up, have you visited an online zoo/museum?
I have.
Yes, I'll give you a point on that.
All right, Fisher's getting a point there. So have you visited an online zoo/museum?
It was the Cincinnati Zoo.
Oh, cool. Did you go there?
No,
Okay.
I virtually went there.
Oh, cool. You know what? I'm actually pleased that your wife called in because that means our quality on this is now so good that people are feeling offended at
That's
some
right.
of the things that
We have become offensive.
We have now arrived.
That's right. When you become offensive, that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
That's when your numbers go way up.
All right. So Hannah says no, but wants to. All right. The Cottons have.
All right.
Amanda says yes. Brian says, "Does Facebook count?" No. I get it. He's calling Facebook
Well,
a zoo.
maybe he viewed his own kids. That's the way I look at it. If I see my own kids online, that's like seeing a bunch of monkeys in the zoo. Yeah. So
you know what? Give Brian a point for cleverness there. That's
I'll give him a point on that.
Kayla says no. Latoast is yes. The Bigfoot Museum. Okay.
Bigfoot Museum. That's interesting.
Yeah. Jessica with yes. Little Rock is doing daily zoo animal videos. Nathan Young's on now. He says the cheetah live video is the bomb. Cheeto, like the cheetah? Cheetah? All right, we've got Amanda with the Bigfoot Zoo.
All right. Got a lot of Squatch hunters out there.
Yeah, a little Sasquatch thing going on. All right, next up, is anyone at 10 yet?
Let me do a little count here real quick. Woo, we got Jessica at 9. She's at 9, 1 point away from 10. In case you didn't know how to do math.
I do not. All right, here we go. Have you worn headphones specifically to ignore someone? That's the key.
Ooh.
Have you worn headphones to ignore someone?
When you have to do that, that's because you're pretty much amateurish at ignoring people.
That's right.
You get to our level, you can ignore them.
That's right.
No matter what.
Hannah Rowlett with yes.
All right. Point.
Miss Jessica, no. Brian, of course. I mean, I can hear it in his thumb, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And Hannah, yes, we kind of would assume that that's what you were going to say. The Cottons say no. That's probably Haley giving the official family answer.
Well,
like no one would do that in my home.
Yeah.
But we know. Latoast, multiple thumbs up with yeah, like I definitely do that all the time. Amanda, no. Kayla, yes. My sister took my headphones, so Nathan, she took them to ignore you.
That's a minus point against Nathan
you
right there,
lose
man.
a point,
You
sir.
lose a point right there. Oh.
Is anyone at 10 now?
No, man, not yet.
I thought we were at 9 last
We
one.
were, but she didn't do it.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Man, I'm fair. I'm keeping this score right by the record here.
All right, we may get a winner on this one. We'll spin this one up. All right. Here we go. And stop. Have you spent 5 consecutive waking hours in your bedroom? And now for those of you out there in the younger crowd, consecutive means in a row. So have you spent 5 hours in a row in your bedroom?
Kind of like being
Fisher,
grounded.
Fisher saying, yeah.
Being grounded.
You know, and the question is open-ended. It could,
never said you couldn't be asleep.
I know, like you're grounded or
It said waking
whatever.
hours.
Yes.
Waking
hours. This is waking hours.
Waking hours.
All right, Miss Jessica is, of course, yes. Brian, yes. Of course, he's in a hotel. That's going to happen. Kayla with yes. Yeah, Brian already got you on that. Hotel rooms definitely count. Hannah with yes. So, has Jessica got it?
Jessica is the winner. Runner-up is a tie between Brian and Amanda.
Oh, well, they're like one family.
They're all like one family, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't give any consolation prizes.
All right, the Cottons are no, we don't get consolation prizes.
No.
Besides, they already got eggs or something today, didn't they?
Yeah, well, most of them did. I don't know how far that got around. I had to come back here.
The Helfers did.
Yeah, well, they did. You're right.
The Helfers did,
You're right.
yeah.
So.
Okay. Hey, thank you all for indulging us on that one.
That's right.
So hope you enjoyed that. Looks like Miss Jessica is our winner for the coveted golden spoon from Massachusetts.
The Massachusetts Souvenir Collectible Spoon is all yours. We will keep it on hand at the church.
How many points did Hannah Rowlett have? I mean, she lost, so it doesn't matter, but
5.
she's asking. She only had 5. Like you weren't even close.
Look, it's win or lose here.
Yeah, I mean
we had that whole thing. Second place is the first loser.
Nathan, yes, a 12-hour gameplay in your room.
Come on, man.
Wow, man.
How'd you eat and go to the bathroom during that, dude?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you all for joining, and so we'll get going with our lesson. I'll try to keep it concise, and if you would, we'll go to Matthew this evening, Matthew chapter 15, and I need to get my Bible. Will you hand me that, sir? Thank you. You're over there.
I'm pretty impressed you actually have your Bible.
I do. I've finally, I actually studied with it this week.
Wow.
In preparation for this lesson. I haven't
most impressive.
I haven't done that in a while. Can everybody see you good?
I don't have to see me good, man.
Yeah. So haven't. I'm just kidding. I
my ambiance is enough.
Try to do that. So Matthew chapter 15, and we will pick up where we left off last week, and that'll be in verse 21. And I'll have some slides this evening. I'm finally trying to get more productive with the stream here. So we'll have some slides to throw up with some questions maybe you can see. And hey, and while you're at it, you should invite your friends on Facebook. When we were doing this on Facebook Live, we had considerably few more folks, and we were doing Facebook and Instagram at the same time. And through our research of doing this, we have uncovered that it's very difficult for the internet to have a quality stream when we're trying to do 2 streams. So probably a little bit of a challenge this week. We're asking everybody to switch over to YouTube, but we felt like that was a platform that most everybody could access. So maybe hit up your Facebook friends. I threw up a post on the church page that points people to our channel, and it should have on the channel the live section where they can click. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. See if we can send them this way. We'll try to do it again next week too. But in Matthew 15:21, I asked Brother Will to come on. I thought it'd be good for the church to see him too on Wednesday night, and we will pick his brain on a few questions, see what he thinks on some stuff here. So there's a little bit of a weird story in Matthew 21 this evening that at face value, it can actually sound a little bit weird, possibly, I don't want to say rude, but just a little bit weird. And we'll get to that in just a second. So in Matthew 15:21, it begins with this. Jesus went away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon." So setting the context here, context is going to be huge for this story this evening, okay? So Jesus, if you remember last week, the week before last even, he was doing some miracles. He had the feeding of the 5,000 that were recorded, and he had that confrontation last week with the Pharisees. They were accusing Jesus and his disciples of breaking the tradition of the elders. And Jesus kind of threw it back on him and said, well, you're breaking the actual commandments of God for the sake of your tradition. So we talked about the difference between, is what we're doing, is it actually from God? Are we doing things as a Christian for the sake of God? Or are we doing them for the sake of a man-made tradition? And so Jesus now leaves that area. And we've seen this theme in Matthew over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Not that Jesus is running away like a coward, but he still withdraws at times. Remember when he heard the news of John the Baptist, he withdrew. He would withdraw in private to pray, sort of refocus. And here again, he goes away. Now, if you look in verse 21, it says he goes away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. And that is very important for this story this evening. This is a Gentile region. So, and it says here that a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying. So I'm going to try to throw up my first slide here. I want to ask the crowd, so who were the Canaanites? And Brother Will give them a minute to answer, and you can chime in. Fisher, you can answer if you think you know too. So who were the Canaanites? It says in verse 22, behold, a Canaanite woman from that region. So who do we think the Canaanites were? Anyone in the chat channel there? Canaanites. I sort of said it earlier without meaning to, if you were listening, but, you know, I know how it goes.
Will it accept people from Canaan?
We'll accept people from Canaan. Yeah. Can't ever tell if people are waiting to answer or if they're like, no, I don't know. You almost want to tell them, look, if you don't know, just tell me you don't know. Like, so we can, I'm just kidding. How about this? Answer if you don't know. I'm kidding. Brian, people from Canaan. Yeah.
There you go.
That's
That's
actually
the answer we were looking for.
It's actually not bad there. Not bad. Yeah. Canaan. There you go. I know what you meant. Canaanites are people from the land of Canaan. And I sort of said this word earlier, but Brother Will, you can chime in here. Are they Jews or Gentiles?
They would be Gentiles.
That's right. So that's what's significant here for everything we'll talk about this evening. Jesus withdraws from the predominantly Jewish areas, and he withdraws to a Gentile region. Okay, now, let me see if I had that on a slider, and I was going to ask a question. Nope, I didn't have it. Oh, do we know why that would be so scandalous or significant to see that Jesus is sort of going on another little retreat, and he's gone to a Gentile area? Does anyone know why that might be a little scandalous? I'll give you guys a minute to chime in. Need some Jeopardy music or something, you know? So, all right. Do you have thoughts on that?
Well, I don't want to step on your toes.
No, this is mutual.
Okay.
It's co-led here.
But from the Jewish side of it, Jesus being a Jew, now he didn't feel this way, but good Jews would scoff at Gentiles, disdain Gentiles, would avoid Gentiles, would not do business with Gentiles, wouldn't even buy food from the market, really, from Gentiles. I mean, you did not have dealings with them. Almost, if you would go back in the history of our country and the division of race that you saw between African Americans and white people and so forth, that's what we're talking about here, is such a great disdain, almost a hatred, if you want to word it that way, among the Jews towards Gentiles.
That's right. That's exactly right. I don't have anything to add to that. That's a good answer. So if you read through the Gospels, you find over and over, anytime Gentiles are usually mentioned, or sort of like Samaritans as well, they were half-breeds. They're always mentioned in a negative way. They were not viewed highly. So Jesus here, the Jewish Messiah, has retreated to a Gentile area. So obviously, if you want to get away from the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes, who he just had a confrontation with earlier in the chapter, you run away to the Gentile area. And I don't mean run away like he's scared, but he's like, I want to get away from this. This is a bunch of nonsense right now. Miss Kathy Braun's on. Hello, Miss Kathy. She says, reaching out to all people. We'll get to that in a second. You're on the right track. Not there yet, but we are going to get there. Okay, so now here's our story. It gets a little bit weird. So, behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying. So we have a native Canaanite woman here, and she is crying out in Greek, literally crying, like just yelling, crying out, not asking in a polite, hey, would you do this? No, she is imploring. She is begging Jesus to do something for her. It says here, have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon. So let's stop right there. She says, verse 22, have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon. Now, let me throw up another question for us to think about, okay? Why is the woman calling Jesus Son of David? Why is that significant? She calls him Lord. Now, that could go either way, because in the Greek, the word for Lord that we think of, Lord God, Lord Jesus, it could have meant that, but it also was just a term of reverence like Sir, Master. So let's set that aside. Let's look at just the phrase Son of David. Why is that significant? Any guesses? Ow. Did you hear that?
That's pretty impressive pop into the neck
Yeah.
right there.
I'm my own chiropractor.
I'm telling you, you're saving a lot of money doing that.
Yeah. I can pop my back by falling on the floor. Where are we at here? All right. So, any thoughts yet in the chat? Want to give y'all a chance? I've tried to time our lag and see. I feel like you should have enough time now for the brain wheels to work. Okay. All right, Son of David is... Hello, Miss Kathy. I was going to hold up for one more second, just make sure. Some of you ladies in your Daniel study, I'm surprised your wife hadn't answered. Well, I don't know if
She's driving, by the way.
Oh, she's driving.
Listening while she's driving.
You know she's still watching, though.
Oh, yeah, she's watching it and driving.
I don't know if actually in Daniel really says the phrase, but the idea sort of comes from these prophecies in the Old Testament. All right, so here goes Brian, and he's on the right track here. Brian says she recognizes who he is. Brother Will, what did Son of David sort of mean? Can you give us a...
Son of David, the short answer is simply this. People would recognize that phrase as referring to the Messiah.
That's right. And so what's ironic here, our distinguished pastor, that a Gentile woman, a Canaanite, and by the way, I didn't mention this, but the Canaanites, are the ones in the Old Testament that were commanded to be wiped out by the Israelites because they were pagans, they were wicked, they burned their children as sacrifice. They were wicked people. Okay, so they're still around though because Israel didn't obey, and they're still sort of here. So we have a woman from that type of ancestry. Pagans, very, very pagan, godless people. Well, they had many gods, but they didn't worship the true God. A Gentile. And here you have the Jewish Messiah here, and she calls him Son of David, and you're telling us that was a special term, right? Would you say it's a special term?
Absolutely was.
Very special term for referring to the Jewish Messiah, meaning he comes from the lineage of David and stuff. So with all of that context in mind, how would you word that this is significant that this woman here would call him that?
Well, in reality, what that just demonstrates to us, let's put this in current context. Regardless of your background, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of your previous thoughts of faith or religion, the reality is anyone can come to the understanding of who Jesus is, their need for Jesus, and cry out to him as this woman did. And I know that's probably not where you're going yet, but that's where my mind is in this. Here's a Gentile with a pagan ancestry who can still cry out, recognizing Jesus for who he is. So the accountability factor for us in that is the reality that each of us, under the prompting of the Holy Spirit, can call out to Jesus as he really is, who he really is, to him in the way that this woman did. Once again, I'm afraid I'm jumping the gun on you a little bit there.
No.
But Anyway.
Very good.
Please continue.
No, that's it. So, and we don't have the backstory of how it is this woman or this region knows that much about Jesus. Obviously, they would have heard the news that there's this man, Jesus. He's saying a bunch of things. He's like healing dead people, blind people, and all that. So we don't know her backstory of how she gained the detailed information. The point being, though, her calling Son of David significant is you've got a Gentile, Canaanite, pagan-raised woman here, and the Jewish Messiah has just entered their home area, and she knows enough about him and has enough, we'll go ahead and say, faith in him, to not just call him a good teacher, a miracle worker, but calls him, you're the Messiah. I mean, would you say that that's what she's getting at?
I think that's exactly what she's professing him for who he is.
That's it, that word profess. So she is professing faith, would you say?
Absolutely.
So this would be sort of an Old Testament version of having saving faith, is you acknowledge before Jesus died, you acknowledged that he was coming, that you had to have faith and trust in him to forgive you of your sins, just like we look back at what he has done. Would you say it that way?
Absolutely.
Maybe? Okay,
Absolutely.
So she's exercising a type of Old Testament faith, and calling on him, will you heal my daughter, do a miracle? I'm not just asking you because you're powerful. I'm asking you because you're the Son of David. You're the Messiah. I believe in you. So here's where the story gets a little weird. Verse 23. But he, that's Jesus, did not answer her a word. So, again, a little weird. Jesus did not answer her a word. He ignores her. That's straight up what he's doing. He ignores the woman, and his disciples came and begged him, saying, send her away, for she is crying out after us. So again, in the Greek here, this is indicating a continuous beseeching, wailing after Jesus. So she's audibly, to the point the disciples are just annoyed. So they're basically saying to Jesus, can you just do something with this woman? Either heal her daughter and send her away, or just command her to go away. Can you please? So this woman's obviously causing such a ruckus here that the disciples they've had it. Okay, so here's my question, and this is where the story gets a little weird. But Jesus ignored this woman. I mean, flat out. There's no way around it. In verse 23, she's calling out, crying out, to the point the disciples over here are annoyed. And yet Jesus' response, we would think, would be, oh yeah, sure, I got this. I've done easier stuff than this. No, I mean, what does he do? He ignores her. So my question is, was Jesus being mean to this Canaanite woman? Was he being mean to this Canaanite woman? A little tricky question, because, us faithful believers want to say, well, no, of course Jesus is never mean. We know the answer. But I'm trying to get us to think, though, deeply about this moment. I should have probably said the question a different way. I guess I'm really asking you, we know he's not being mean, but why did he maybe do what he did here? Why not immediately help the woman? If you look at what Jesus has done before, that's really his model of people come to him, and as long as they had a measure of sincerity and faith, he heals them. But here you have a woman that shows like she may have more faith than 90% of the Jews, would you say? Mm-hmm. And yet ignores her. Any thoughts from the crowd? Oh, you can answer too. You're the crowd. I'm at the crowd online, but you can answer. You looked at me like you're ready to go. Oops.
Do you mind if I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, wouldn't it be his priority would be to get the Jews first and then her?
Okay.
And then
Okay.
something like that.
I think you're on the right track there. We will touch on that a little bit more, but yes. Anyone from the YouTube channel want to take a stab at this? Just something to think about. Maybe you don't have a good answer. I had to study this a little bit more myself. This is one of those stories in the Bible, you read it at first glance and you think, well, why did that happen that way? I mean, why, at least I do. Like, why would Jesus just sort of brush her off, ignore her?
Tate, shut that door. Tate, shut that door.
We have a rowdy crowd in the background.
I'm telling you.
What's going on? All right, we'll move on here then. I understand if you don't have an answer, crowd. It's okay. So, now, I kind of told you, Brother Will, I was going to put you on the spot because this is a little tricky question, but let's go ahead with you. What nuggets would you offer us on this situation?
Well, my mind goes two ways. One is leaning, traveling a path Fisher mentioned earlier, but let me throw two things out. One being this: sometimes it's easy just to cry out, but how do you know how sincere your faith is? How do you know how genuine your faith is? How do you know how vested your faith is until your faith is really stretched, put to the test? So what I'm getting at is this woman cried out in faith. I believe that. But how do we know how genuine her faith was? Because she didn't relent. She persisted in crying out. And Jesus is even going to commend her of a great faith. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it that I really lean towards is also what Fisher mentioned, that Jesus had been sent to his own, and his own received him not. He had been sent to the nation of Israel, to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. God had fulfilled, he had confirmed the covenant he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in that the Messiah would come and come through their lineage. And here he is. He has come to Israel. His time on earth is limited. His earthly ministry is limited in scope of time frame. And so he's busy about bringing the gospel, bringing salvation, bringing the Messiahship that he is presenting to Israel, yet Israel rejects him. And he's going to send the gospel to the Gentiles. We know that. We're going to see that here in that what he does among the Gentiles, but we're going to see how he sends Paul, how he sends Peter. We're going to see people like Silas and Barnabas, Philip, going to the Gentiles. So he knows his kingdom's going to be a wide kingdom encompassing all, but here at this point, his focus is the house of Israel. So those are my kind of two-pronged thoughts. And when you mention that, that's where my mind goes.
Okay.
So jump in and take us where your mind
all
has
right,
gone.
so here's what, and I agree with all of that, and I'll let me piggyback a little. I actually hate when people say that, so I hate what I just said. But when I studied this, at first glance, you think this is really odd. And as y'all said, and we will get to that, Jesus will say, my mission was primarily to the Jews first. It doesn't mean we're ignoring the Gentiles, but it means we're first to the Jews, then the Gentiles. But however, in this story here, Jesus was not being mean, and he's being, in my opinion, this is him doing what he does best, being a brilliant teacher. He's about to show the woman something, but really I believe this was a teaching moment for the disciples. He has them with him, and this is him showing them something, sort of a small glimpse of something yet to come, greater. That they would be the ones that really take the gospel to the Gentiles. Because I say that because, remember, Jesus intentionally, he's not here by accident, so he intentionally traveled to a Gentile region. And now on top of that, with his God mind of foreknowledge and knowing future events, he knows what he's getting into. So Jesus knows, I'm going to go travel to this Gentile region because I have a divine appointment. Just like the woman at the well, He knew, I'm going to go to Samaria and there's going to be the woman at the well, and we're about to have this moment here. I believe this is a woman at the well type moment. He knows, I'm going to this Gentile region that the Jews are going to think he's crazy. We hate the Gentiles, but I'm about to show my disciples that the gospel is for everyone. Number two, I have a divine appointment with this woman here, and I'm about to show another miracle, teach another lesson. But how he's going to go about it, it is a little cryptic, a little strange, but it's going to get the point across. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I don't know if you have anything else to add, or you can tell me that that's a bunch of, hooey. So, crowd, y'all can chime in anytime. Kathy's kind of on the right point, testing her faith. Kathy, I would agree with you. I would just sort of add, though, I believe the testing element to this is a little bit more on the side of the disciples. I'm thinking the woman, he is testing her for sure. He is testing her. But I think it's equal on the amount of where the test lies. It's on her, but I think we're going to see it's really on the disciples as well. So we'll move on here, and here's what happens. So Jesus answers verse 24, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So I was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then he says in verse 25, the woman came and knelt before him. So now there's sort of this physical act of worship going on. And she says, Lord, help me. So she will not give up. She is still begging Jesus. And Jesus answers her in verse 26. And this is where, again, it sounds a little harsh. If we're honest, it sounds a little harsh. But Jesus says, it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. So Jesus doesn't say, I'll help you. He doesn't say, hold on a minute, I'll do this. His response is with an analogy. And the analogy is, it's not right for the master of the house to take the food that he prepared for his children and give it to the dogs. So when you prepare a meal at the house, unless you just love your dog or cat more than your children, maybe you do, but in general, you're going to prepare your meal and you're going to serve it to your family first. I mean, wouldn't you think? Usually, I mean, rather than say I prepared this nice meal and here it goes to the dog first and then my children get what's left. I mean, that would be backwards. And so Jesus is giving her this story of, look, no, this is not right. We don't do this right now. Now, verse 27 is where the woman really, really exercises her faith. So she says in verse 27, yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. And that's very powerful. She says, yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Now, my question is this. I'll throw it up here on the screen. So, where did the woman place herself in Jesus' story? So, Jesus tells the story. It's not right for the master to give the bread, the food to the children, to the dogs before the children. And she responds with, yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Where it has the woman affirmed the story, like, yes, Jesus, I understand the story, and here's my response to it. She sort of inserts herself into the story. And my question would be, what figure here, what character did she take on in this story? Oh, we need the Jeopardy music now. Tate, you have any Jeopardy music? There you go. There you go. All right, Brian got it there. The dog. That's right. That's right. So, again, Brother Will, would you say this is yet another evidence of the type of faith that she has?
I would, especially when you understand in the Middle East, dogs aren't family pets. Oh, we love our dogs. They're dirty animals. They're animals that are looked on with disdain. And so she's acknowledging that, okay, in your statement here, I can see, your children being the Jewish people and the bread being your presence, your blessing, your gospel, your ministry, your power. But look, I acknowledge I'm helpless. I'm this lowly creature. I am the dog. But I come to you recognizing my position and your position. And so that's how we come to Jesus, right?
That's right.
If we come to him in faith, we come recognizing our position and his position, our lowly, helpless state before him. We don't come to Christ saying, well, I'm self-sufficient, Jesus, but I'll trust you anyway. No, we come as the dog, if you want to use those terminology, and come before him in faith that way. So it's very significant that she did that.
Very good. So, again, another sign of her great faith. First of all, she's honestly being a pest because she knows only Jesus can solve my problem. Mm-hmm. That's great faith in and of itself. But number two, even when the Lord himself sort of gives her a pushback answer, hey, you're like the dogs over here, and we don't feed the dogs before the children. So clearly in his story, Jesus is saying, I'm the master of the house, the children are the Jews, and the Gentile are the dogs. The food would be the gospel of the kingdom. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So then he's sort of saying in layman's terms, look, it's not right for me, the master of the house, to bypass the children, the Jews, and go straight to the dogs, the Gentiles, and give them the best of the blessings of the kingdom of God. Because you have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All those promises were made to the Jews, and they're the ones that get to inherit it first. Doesn't mean the Gentiles don't get any of it. It's just when you look at the Old Testament, the prophecies are always to the Jews first and then the Gentiles, right? And so Jesus is saying, you're asking me to break the order of operation, basically. You're wanting me to go straight to the Gentiles and bypass Jews. I can't do that. But she shows her faith, as you're saying, by saying, I get that. But don't the dogs still get a little bit of the leftovers, a little bit of the blessings? So, yeah, crazy stuff. Great faith there. And then look at Jesus' response now in verse 28. Then Jesus answered her, "O woman, great is your faith. Great is your faith. Be it done for you as you desire." And her daughter was healed instantly. In the Greek, it's in that moment, that same hour. Jesus spoke it, and she's healed. So Jesus Jesus, we know in our theology, he already knew what he was going to do. He already knew he was going to meet this woman. This is not a surprise. But I believe Jesus sort of set this up and answered that way to get to that end result. Would you say? Or So he's trying to create a moment here. So I don't think Jesus was being mean. He wasn't being rude. And he was telling her the truth. Jesus was sent to the Jews first. Because it's not until Acts chapter 9, Cornelius, right? The first Gentile officially receives the gospel there. And then you later on in Acts, then the gospel goes fully to the Gentiles. So Jesus was correct. But the woman still persisted and said, well, I get that. I'm not asking to steal what the Jews get. I'm just asking to get some of what they get. And I think about that really well, and maybe you could chime in, but do you think she's sort of implying, I have enough faith that you don't even have to fully give me everything you intend to give the Jews, just give me a little bit, and that's enough. Do you think that's kind of what she was getting at?
I do. I think her faith is a faith that says, Jesus, I know you're the Messiah, I acknowledge that, and I'll come to you in faith, and I'll accept whatever that means. Whether that's a great deal or a small piece, but what you can give is more than what I can do or anyone else can give. So no pretense, no expectation, no qualifying, here's what I want in my faith. I'm just coming in faith. That's
right. All right, so let's move to our next story. I want to try to run through this. There's three stories here. The next two will be really fast. So now then, verse 29, Jesus went on from there and walked beside the Sea of Galilee. Now let me make a point real quick. He's in the same Gentile region. So that's important. Everything we're about to read for the rest of the chapter is in Gentile territory. Okay, so he moves on from there, walked beside the Sea of Galilee. He went up on the mountain and sat down there. Verse 30, great crowds. So these would be predominantly Gentile crowds. They came to him, bringing with him the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others. They put them at his feet, and he healed them. So, of course, Jesus isn't being mean to the Canaanite woman. He knew he was going to heal him. He was just trying to go through a process to make a point. And again, I believe one of the tests here is for the disciples with him so that when the moment comes in the book of Acts, they could start recalling these instances of, oh, yeah, Jesus helped the Samaritan woman. He helped the Canaanites. What do you think?
I think so. If you remember, they brought 2 Greeks to him.
That's right.
You know, in the same type response here. So.
That's right. So here, he heals now a crowd of people. And it says in verse 31, the crowd wondered. We could say another word. They were amazed. They were marveled that when they saw the miracles happening. The mute were speaking, the crippled were healthy, the lame walking, the blind see. And here's the key phrase. They glorified the God of Israel. Let me throw up a question for us to think about here. Okay, why is it significant that the crowds glorified the God of Israel? Why is it significant that the crowds glorified the God of Israel? Think about who is in this crowd and why that may be significant. I don't like the silence.
The sound of silence?
Yeah.
Who was that? Garfunkel or somebody or something or other?
I don't know.
The sound of silence?
Now you're talking probably before me. I don't know.
It's before both of us, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember who sang that song.
Yeah. Why do we think it could be significant that that the crowds, specifically Matthew records, they glorified the God of Israel?
Maybe it was because, so it says that they brought Greeks. I'm not going to say ancient times, but times a little bit before that. They were like worshiping Zeus Jesus and all these other people on Mount Olympus or whatever, and now they're recognizing that the God of Israel is the God that they need to worship.
Okay. I think you're on the right track there. I was going to see if anyone in the chat wants to take a stab at it. All right, so I think Fisher pretty much got it there. Remember, this crowd makeup is Gentile. So you have a Gentile crowd now acknowledging the wonderful power of Jesus, and the point is they went from acknowledging just Jesus to they're specifically saying the God of Israel. So it's as if they were believing in Jesus. We know he can heal, and him doing those miracles now led to the Gentiles saying, okay, now we're with Yahweh. I mean, would you kind of see that? So
absolutely.
Okay.
That's the only connotation you can take away from that.
Yeah. So now let's move into our third story, and we'll wrap this all together if you can hang with me with some application. So verse 32, then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion on the crowd. Again, remember, this crowd is the Gentile crowd that he's just been doing all these miracles for. So we may have a bad lag. I apologize. Now I'm getting some answers. So Kathy says, someone insignificant and not deserving. Miss Jessica with, he was healing, but he was not their king of their country. Okay, so I think I see where Miss Jessica's going is sort of what we were saying, that he's healing these people, but he's not really directly their king. They're believing in him. I kind of think I see what track she's on there. So now then we're about to see a very familiar story because we talked about it a couple weeks ago, maybe 3. But Jesus says, I have compassion on this Gentile crowd here that's been following me. They've been with me 3 days. So for 3 days, Jesus is on this miracle tour and teaching tour with this Gentile crowd, not Jews. And so he says, I'm unwilling to send them away hungry unless they faint on the way. Verse 33, the disciples said to him, where are we to get enough bread in such a desolate or desert type place to feed this large crowd? Jesus said to them, how many loaves do you have? They said 7 and a few small fish. Directing the crowd to sit down on the ground, he took 7 loaves and the fish, and having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. The disciples gave them to the crowds, and they ate and were satisfied. They took up 7 baskets full of the broken pieces left over. Those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And after sending away the crowds, he got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan, or Magadan, however you want to say it. Okay, now that's a very familiar story because last chapter, Matthew 14, there's another story of Jesus multiplying food. And in that story, they took up 12 baskets, and it records that Jesus fed 5,000 men. This story says 7 baskets, and he fed 4,000 men, just the men, so it's honestly going to be more than that. Now, I want to make a point to tell you, yes, those are 2 separate events, because when we keep reading in Matthew 16, Jesus refers to them both as 2 separate events. Some people have tried to say, oh, this is the same story, but they got the facts wrong. It is a different story. Jesus did a miracle with the food twice. The difference here is this is to a Gentile crowd, right? So he's now doing this to a Gentile crowd, and he wants to show, again, a similar type miracle to them. So I think I had a question up here, maybe. No, maybe I don't. All right, let's talk about it for a moment, and we'll wrap this up with an application point here. So once again, Jesus shows his miraculous power, but he's doing all of this now to a Gentile audience. And I believe to test their faith as well, but to also show lessons to his disciples who would have to pick up the torch where he left off in the book of Acts and minister to the Gentiles. So I believe Jesus was sort of planting those seeds in their mind early on that this is what's coming. So with that in mind, let me throw out some things for us to think about, okay? Let me kind of ask the crowd, and Brother Will, you can chime in, but what qualities, think back to the woman. What qualities do we find in that woman, the Canaanite woman, that show her faith was great? Yeah.
Commenting on God.
Okay. As in, can you explain?
How she talked about the dog after he
Okay.
said the story, like
Yeah.
commented on that.
Okay, so she kept after him and kept commenting. She kind of knew her place. Is that what you're saying? She knew his place and hers? Yeah. Okay. So what qualities do we find in the woman that show her faith was great? Okay, Jessica here. Willingness to believe on him. Yes, that would be one. I would say. Anything else? What about her? You chime in here too, but do you find it significant just how Matthew took pains to record the pain they felt because of her persistence? I mean, I just imagine her just nagging.
Chasing them down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, not leaving them alone. Because when you know you have a need that only Jesus can meet, you don't let go of Jesus. You stay with Jesus. You persist in that calling out to Jesus.
And you just hit the nail on the head when you said the phrase, when you know you have that need. And this is something I would like us all to think about. Miss Kathy saying no matter what she believed. Yes, this is something I'd like us all to take away from this and think about. When I read and studied this story, I was stricken with the fact that you have a Gentile woman here who somehow gained this knowledge that he's not just a great teacher, but he's the son of David, he's the Messiah. And she would not give up. Jesus ignored her, she wouldn't give up. Jesus gave her an analogy story to kind of pushing her back, she didn't give up. And you just said something, when you know you have a need. And here's what I found ironic, especially as a pastor, you tell me if you agree or not. I mean, how often as a pastor you're preaching or you're out sharing the gospel, and does it not seem as though you're begging people, you're pleading with people? Ministers often are the ones, the Canaanite woman, would you say? Like, we're the ones after the lost. I'm begging you, repent and turn to Christ. Mm-hmm. But how great would it be for the lost to be like the Canaanite woman, and in turn, like, I'm begging to find a Christian to hear the gospel. But it doesn't usually happen that way, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. And the reality is, whether it's a lost person or, let's say, a born-again believer who is under conviction of some sort or has a need spiritually that they know Jesus is the fulfillment of this need, but we just lack sometimes the wherewithal within us to persist in seeking Jesus, or getting to the place where we move past our pride and say in a lowly fashion, I can't fix it, Jesus. I can't meet this need, Jesus. I'm coming to you in complete dependence and trust. And I'm just going to tell you just a little behind the pulpit insight. And Dustin has been here. He knows what it is. You're presenting the message, and the Holy Spirit is upon you, and you just know there's someone there. Sometimes you even get a sense who it might be. They are struggling. They have a need. They need to just come to the Lord with the faith this woman has, just a persistence of saying, here I am, Jesus, lowly and needy. But they just won't do it. And if you want to just come down off the platform, grab them and pull them aside and say, just give your life, just give your need. And you almost want to will them to do it, but you can't. You can't. But right. Anyway, I'll get off that before I get too intrusive in people's personal business.
Oh yeah, I understand. Good stuff. So, and those are good points. I just found that ironic is our situation today is it's kind of flip-flop.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean pastors. Any of you out there, if you have that lost friend or family member or coworker, I mean, you probably feel like, man, I'm having to almost pound it into them. You need to listen to this. You need to hear this. And you're begging them. Wouldn't it be great if the roles were reversed? So I find what you said earlier very targeted here. She knew in her soul she had a problem. And it was a physical problem with her daughter, but yet she knew with all of her being that only Jesus could solve it. And that's the issue with the lost a lot, right? Is that they're not aware always of they have a problem, a sin problem to begin with. And so that's our job to be telling them. So some characters about her faith that we should take away. Her faith, it didn't give up. It was persistent. She believed, I believe, with all of her heart and soul, and she knew Jesus was the only cure for her problem there. And I just thought about, as a Christian, okay, how many times our faith can be prone to weaken a little because of a trial or a situation in life, or even a time like right now where things are a little confusing, with people maybe wondering where's God in the middle of this. But I think about how the Canaanite woman, how she came to Jesus, and you tell me what your opinion is, but I believe for us the takeaway is we should maybe focus on having this kind of a faith too. Even yes, I'm a Christian, I'm saved, I'm going to heaven, but to live the day to day and to live this weird life, to have that, God, I have a need right now, and yes, you're going to do your will, but did not Jesus say elsewhere, keep on asking and you'll find, keep on seeking? And so this persistence with God, I'm going to keep praying, I'm going to keep asking, I'm going to keep being faithful, I'm going to keep doing what I know I should do. And I don't know, what do you think?
I think that's right on track. That's awesome insight. And as you're saying that, in my mind, I'm thinking about this woman. She came to Jesus in faith, in total dependence, recognizing her need, believing he could meet that need, but didn't look for the answers of how will you meet that need, what will you do, how is it going to work. In other words, she didn't need these answers. She didn't try to figure it out. She didn't even want Jesus to explain how it would happen. She simply exercised faith. And I think sometimes in times like we're in, we may trust Jesus, but we're looking for him to provide answers and explanations, and we want to figure everything out, when what we need to do many times is simply come to him in faith and exercise faith in our daily lives, trusting that in his perfect knowledge, wisdom, and power, he will bring to pass that which needs to happen. And we may not have the answers or the explanation, but it's our faith at work that exercises in those things and grows in those times.
Right. Well, I know we're about at time, so let me run through some final thoughts here. Let me just throw them out, and you chime in anytime. So let me leave you with these sort of applicational thoughts from these three stories. Remember, these three events happened to a Gentile audience, and Jesus' point was not that they don't deserve to hear the gospel either, but it was to make a point that the Jews first and the Gentiles. But notice, they did not give up. They hounded Jesus, we would say. And Jesus said, look at this great faith. So what kind of a faith does God honor? And this goes for us as Christians, I believe. How do we maintain a healthy faith as a Christian? Like this woman, a kind of faith that persists. It persists. It doesn't stop. Even when it feels like life or maybe God's even distant and you're being pushed back on, it persists. It keeps going. And the second thing I want to throw for us to think about tonight is Jesus showed a lot of grace and mercy. You remember the last story where he multiplied the food. These are all Gentiles. He said, I have compassion on this crowd. So I want to throw out at us, let's not forget that the gospel is for everyone, right? Regardless of race, it doesn't matter. And in fact, are we Jews or Gentiles usually ethnically here? We're Gentiles. Ethnically, we would be Gentiles. So it's humbling to think that this could have been us in this story in that day. Jesus would have been saying to you and me, y'all are Gentiles, y'all are the dogs. You don't get the full blessings yet. But thanks be to God that wasn't God's final plan. The plan was that the Jews get it first and then it spreads. So we're here today having church in America especially, and we're ethnically Gentiles. So that's because the gospel is for everyone. And my final point I want to make is, and I want to throw this up on the screen here. So it's a little bit long, but let me leave you with this thought to think about that hit me. Let me get this here. Oh, my face will be in the way. Let me read it to you. I'm sorry for the sake of time. Our temptation, I believe, is to sometimes think that God owes us blessings. I think sometimes, I'm not saying we think that all the time, but I think we need to remember God has given us a lot of grace that we really can't comprehend. And you say, yeah, I know grace because of overcoming sin and salvation, but I'm talking, once again, we're Gentiles, and I think we need to let that really guide our thought process as a Christian. And what I'm getting at, that I mean here more, is this is really a story targeted for people like us, ethnically speaking. And so as Christians at times, especially in American Christianity, we get at times maybe a sense of we can pick what church we want to go to, just like our fast food. We can pick a church based on music, or you can't really right now. Now you got to pick it based on live stream quality, but whatever.
Right.
So, but it used to be that you could pick your church, choose this, choose that. You could choose how you kind of live your Christianity of sorts, how it looks. But the fact remains, we have to remember and be like this woman, I believe, and be guided by the thought process that I have to maintain a strong faith by persisting in obedience in that relationship with God, in prayer to God, and remembering the gospel that I was told and believed in is for everyone. It doesn't discriminate. And remember that God didn't owe me anything. I'm not entitled to anything. I'm the dog in the story. We all are. We're the dog in the story. And yet God showed enough of His grace to let us have the crumbs and to be here today and enjoy what we enjoy. So do you have any final thoughts, or you want to close us out with anything?
I think those are very good thoughts. I think it's a very good study.
Well, I thank you all for hanging with us. I know we were a little long. Please, next week we'll do it again. We'll be moving to the YouTube stream, and we'll see what we can do next week. And remember, right, Good Friday.
Good Friday drive-in service.
You want to have a plug on that?
Listen, if we're going to have a 6 o'clock drive-in service, a 7 o'clock drive-in service. We have sign-up lists online. If you didn't get signed up, don't worry about that. I just want you to shoot me a text, get a hold to Miss Christie, do something like that so we know that you're wanting to attend, and we can make a slot for you so that we maintain social distancing. We'll stay in our cars. It'll be outside. It'll be a good service, though. I want to encourage you to participate in that. Second plug. Invite your friends to our Easter service. Invite your friends. Encourage them to log in and be a part of our online service. It is Easter. We will celebrate. We'll present the gospel. Invite your friends to be there.
Very good. All right, thank you all so very much, and we will cut the stream there, and we'll see you next time.